welcomes you all. Madam, we are started very soon. Very good evening. Very good afternoon, all of you. Part of the seminar, we have a panel discussion on journalism education and research in the AI era. This session, the lead discussant of this session is Professor C. Padmajasha, and other panelists are Professor P. Shashikala, Professor Muhammad Faryad, Professor Tejasvi Navlur, Professor M.A. Zabar, and Dr. K. Rajaram, and also Dr. K. Kurmanath. I welcome you all the panelists. Please come to the dais and occupy the chair. Dr. Fatima. Dr. Fatima, please invite the today's lead discussant, Professor Padmajasha, with the sample. Dr. Yadagiri Kamampati, please give a sample to the Professor Tejasvi Navlur. Pankaj, please welcome the Professor Muhammad Faryad. Ms. Amrita, please welcome the other Professor M.A. Zabar. Ranjit, please welcome our Dr. Yadagiri Kamampati. Please welcome Dr. Rajaram sir. And Mr. Ranjit, please welcome our another guest. Kurmana sir. Jabbar sir. Professor Jabbar sir. Kurmana sir. Jabbar sir. Yeah, it's my great privilege to introduce all these dignitaries, academia of various institutions. The lead discussant of today's panel discussion, Professor Padmanjasha ma'am. Ma'am graduated with the master's degree in journalism from Usmania University and also an MA telecommunication from Michigan State University, USA. Ma'am completed a PhD in development studies and has been teaching at the Department of Communication and Journalism, Usmania University, India since 1988. Madam has two tracks of interest, broadcast production and political economy of communication. Madam began as a television producer and made programs for children and young adults, later produced several educational programs for Countrywide Classroom. The title, she worked as an executive director, programs and utilization for a bouquet of 5 educational channels in Andhra Pradesh for the educational media divisions under the government of Andhra Pradesh. Madam contributes occasionally to a Media Watch website, The Hoot, and writes regular columns in English language daily newspaper, The Hands India, publishing out of Hyderabad. Another madam joined with us, Professor Shashikala ma'am. She is the registrar, she is the registrar from the Maulana Maganlal Chaturvedi National University of Journalism and Mass Communication, Bhopal. She is the head of the New Media Technology Department, and also Madam is the Dean of the Academics. Madam role includes overseeing university academics and heading the New Media Technology Department. And Madam as an advocate for the importance of digital media and printing the current era. Madam current role is head of the department and also she is the registrar for the university. Madam is expertise in the new media technology, digital content production, multimedia, and digital printing and packing. Madam emphasizes the importance of the digital ecosystem and human resource for the Indian printing industry. Thank you, Madam, for joining in this session. Another panelist, Professor Faryad Mahmood. Sir is the head of the Department of Mass Communication and Journalism, Maulana Azad National Urdu University. Sir is also the chairman, Board of Studies, Department of Mass Communication and Journalism. And also project director, UNICEF MANU Manu Partnership Project, that is the title Leadership for Social Change, a project funded by United Nations Emergency Children's Fund in collaboration with the Maulana Azad National Urdu University. Sir presently and also a nodal officer nominated by Vice Chancellor for implementation of Ministry of Education and UGC flagship program included central government programs and campaigns. Sir is expertise as a sub-editor, news editor, chief advisor editor, reporter cum sub-editor, member editorial board in the magazine that is Tati from Ghaziabad, presented various programs and talks on Doordarshan, Jnanvani of IGNO, All India Radio, and several private TV channels. Once again, welcome you, sir. Another professor panelist in this session, Professor Tejasvi Navalur, Professor of Journalism and Mass Communication, Karnataka State Open University, Mysore. Sir has 30 years of experience in academia and research. Professor Tejasvi, sir, as the head of the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication of Karnataka State Open University, which was world's biggest journalism department with 1,200 students, various JMC programs for last 20 years. During his career, Sir was professionally associated with the national and international institutions and research projects, including Ministry of Environment and Forest, Government of India, UGC, MHRD, Government of India, Japan International Cooperation Agency, and Indo-Norwegian Environment Program, USAID, CNN, IBN, and over 40 universities and in India and abroad. Professor Navalur sir has authored 14 books and over 200 chapters on various aspects of journalism and mass communication. Sir has served as several research papers in his credit. Once again, welcome you, sir. Another Professor M.A. Zabbar. Sir is presently Professor and Head of the Department, AIML, Vardhan College of Engineering, Hyderabad, Telangana. Sir obtained Doctor of Philosophy from JNTU, Hyderabad, and Sir has been teaching for more than 20 years. His interest includes artificial intelligence, big data analytics, bioinformatics, cybersecurity, machine learning, attack graphs, and incursion detection systems. Sir published more than 50 papers in various journals and conferences. Sir served as a technical committee member for more than 70 international conferences. Sir is a senior member of IEEE and a lifetime member in professional bodies like Computer Society of India and Indian Science Congress Association and many other institutions. Sir, welcome you once again to the session. Another panelist, Dr. K. Rajaram sir. Sir is the head of the Department of Communication in English and Foreign Languages University, Hyderabad. Sir serving as a OSD to Vice Chancellor, English and Foreign Languages University. Sir has been in the university teaching for the 16 years. Earlier, Sir served as a reporter for the Indian Express, Times of India, and Deccan Chronicle. Sir has also worked as the press secretary to Honorable Government at the Raj Bhavan, Government of Telangana, Hyderabad. Another panelist, sir, welcome you, sir, once again. Another panelist, Dr. Kurmanath KV, PhD holder and visiting faculty at the School of Digital Media and Communication at Mahendra University. Sir also associate editor with the Hindu Business Line. Over 30 years of experience in various newspapers, including Indian Express, writes on economy, agriculture, IT, politics, startups, etc. Sir writes short stories and poems in Telugu. Sir won a national award for ICAR, Indian Institute of Millets Research, for consistently writing on millets. Sir won again one more gold medal for the PhD thesis and another gold medal for getting the first rank in Masters in Journalism. Sir, welcome you to the session. Thank you very much. I request. Sir, here I have to include one more point regarding about the Professor Tejasvi Navalur, sir. That is most relevant to our seminar. That is, Tejasvi sir is passionate about the utility of AI, and sir is currently associated with an open AI overseeing a project that is developing generative AI models for ChatGPT in 14 Indian languages. Thank you very much. Further, I request Madam Padmaja, Madam, please continue. Please continue the further proceedings.
Thanks. Good morning, good afternoon to all of you. This session is essentially about journalism education. So I'm taking the liberty of putting some ideas about and questions before you, which may be important to consider as we go down the line and see what this technology, artificial intelligence, does to us. One of the first things I want to say as a disclaimer is that as journalism educators, one thing we have to understand and recognize and put it on the table is that journalism education was never central to journalism as an occupation, as a profession. If you recall, it came as an academic discipline only in the 50s in India. It took off in the 50s in India. And for 50s, 60s, and 70s, perhaps, early 80s, things began to change drastically. By then, we didn't even have departments in many of the universities. It was still in its infancy when the market opened up and a lot of new papers and channels opened up, they began to create their own little schools of journalism, training not journalistic minds, but journalistic hands. They wanted good hands, not good minds. So the university structure was never a very welcome thing in the larger profession of journalism. I don't know if you all agree, but that I've always felt as a faculty member in Osmania, that there is this division between the profession and its practice and what the teaching does. The teaching environment is supposed to provide. So this I would like to put on the table, because by 90s, early 90s already, we were a marginal player in the profession. During those 30 years, a lot of people got hired. I'm sure everyone who is working in the profession got hired during that golden period when suddenly formal education was felt necessary in journalism. Before that, the whole debate was, are you a born journalist? Do you have to be trained at all to be a journalist? Was it always a question we were talking about. So some of the greatest journalists we've had never had a formal training. So that's one thing. The second thing is technologies, most often disruptive technologies, like internet, social media, have already impacted the practice of journalism in the last 20 years, radically changing what journalism is all about. Somebody defined journalism, defines journalism as journalism education has been seen as a follower and a socializer. Journalism education has been seen as a follower and a socializer, as well as an innovator and critic of the industry. Never central, but it has been always following and responding to the developments and not as an originator of anything that comes as a practice. So we have been following trends and trying to cope. The technological innovations and changes have been so rapid and so vast in their impact that we have been trying to explain and understand, following behind the trends. And that we have to acknowledge as journalism teachers. Because the disruption already happens, and then we step in to find out what happened, why. Should we train our children or not in that or not? Like when we entered journalism, the newspapers were doing by hand setting of type. That was the time we were around. And then the computers came. We had a typewriting lab in journalism department where all the students were supposed to learn shorthand and typing and give a test to be a good journalist. Then the computers came, and then there was a massive disruption. We are talking about AI today and loss of jobs, but there was a massive disruption of an entire section of composers, entire basements of newspaper industry got shut down. Thousands of people lost their jobs. So that's not new. then technology comes as a disruptive force. Jobs have been lost, things have happened. And AI is today, we are finding it as a threat and wondering what it will do to us. Social media, when it came, we thought there can't be a bigger innovation than the satellite technology, globalization, and the manner in which media is transmitting and communicating across the globe. We were fearing homogenization, we were fearing other things. But what happened with that kind of massive intervention of social media is that suddenly the character of journalism completely got changed, completely got disrupted. Now, today, journalists have to stand up and say, hey, we are journalists, they are not. Because citizen journalism has come. Anybody standing anywhere with a phone is actually producing material. We have producers and consumers, prosumers, people who produce also consume. So we have all kinds of things that are happening around us, which are transformative in many ways. Foolish people like us have argued that this is a hugely democratizing, hugely interesting development because everybody has a camera in their hand and everybody has access to a social media site where they can say things and communicate. Finally, something out of the industry control. But what is happening now, we see that the emergence of platformization, the major platforms that have come, Facebook and Twitter, all these platforms have come, including search engines like Google and others. What they have done is they have commercialized and also built in technologies like algorithms and other things where they feel much of what is happening and have centralized the whole thing, the control. And we have been hearing stories of what Facebook does all over the world. The Islamophobia that we see all over the world, the major player is Facebook. In Myanmar, there was a genocidal attack on Rohingyas, and Facebook was condemned by the United Nations Committee, which went for an inquiry. They said Facebook played a major role in causing Islamophobia in Myanmar, spreading rumors, spreading hatred, which it's doing in India also. So the centralized control that has come through platformization is actually making it possible for these entities to control consciousness. The neo-Marxists called media as consciousness industry. What is happening to the consciousness industry today is that it is in the grip of platformized entities where they actually control what you get to see and what you don't get to see. And all of them are major players in developing artificial intelligence technologies, artificial intelligence frameworks they're putting up. So we can, if you all, I don't know if you all from your generation, younger people, I mean, have been reading Marshall McLuhan and his statement about medium is the message. He says at every day, whenever there is a major technological change, it also has a social and political impact and drastically changes from feudalism to democracy happened because of print media. And at every stage in history, when massive technologies arrive and change the way things happen and give potential to individuals to participate in political and economic structures, the impact is very radical in the larger, I mean, it's considered technological determinism, but I don't want to go there. But when you see what is happening, work from home, individualization, the whole artificial intelligence formula is isolation And the kind of crime you see, somebody sitting on the internet and constantly monitoring, learning how to make bombs, whatever, on social media platforms and other platforms, internet. Individual in isolation is up to no good in many ways. So the community consciousness, other things are kind of weakening. And there is some kind of a global consciousness that is being built with a global agenda, which even nation states don't have a control over that. So one of the things that I would like to say, and probably I don't know if you have time constraints, I'll just say a couple of things and then close. One of the things that historically one needs to note, journalism and media enterprise is essentially a human enterprise. It is about people and it is about societies. That is the fundamental premise on which journalism has always operated. And if we forget and get carried away about technologies and all these things and neglect to start teaching people how to code rather than how to be a good journalist in a journalism department, we are making a big mistake. Don't get carried away by the temporary trends of technology that invade the profession. The fundamental enterprise of journalism is a human enterprise about human societies, and our responsibility as journalists to record our state of being at any point in historically, at any point in our society, to register it for future generations as a contemporary history of what is happening. Let us not get carried away. I mean, when a whole 2-day seminar is organized on AI, I was wondering that many of these things are things that need moderation. And let us keep, as individuals who are supposed to provide some kind of moral compass to the profession, let us concentrate on what is essential and bring it down into a more focused thing about what are we about as journalism educators and what we should be doing. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Madam, in her speech, she explained about the journalism education origin, minds and hands, and also disruption of practice, technology, emergence of various technologies, AI threats, and also citizen journalism. I welcome Professor Shashikala, madam. Please.
Yeah, I'm here.
Please.
So can I share my views? Firstly, Sabi ko namaskar, and I feel so good being here with you. Excellent co-panelists. Congratulations to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Open University for organizing such a wonderful seminar on AI-related topics. And thanks to Director Professor Srinivas Vandanamji also. So nice. I was just listening, just like a student, I was listening to Professor Padmaja. So nice, ma'am. You have highlighted so many good things. So because of the time constraint, I will just place my views. As earlier said, yes, I'm from Makanlal Chaturvedi National University of Journalism and Communication, Bhopal. Basically, I'm a computer scientist. From nearby your place from Bangalore, I have done many of my academic programs. But then I have migrated to media technology because that was the need of the institution which I belonged to. From last 26 years, I'm in Makanlal University, and I was given the responsibility of establishing a department on new media technology. Whatever is happening, the technical trends in the space, that I was supposed to identify and incorporate in the department. So that is how in 2010 these courses were started in our university, and I think we were one of the earlier institutions to adopt new media technologies. So starting with multimedia and graphics animation, we also offered printing, but then we adopted to the converging technologies around social media. So we have given programs, we have given trainings to the public relation officers of the state and to the media professionals also on various issues related to new media technologies. And now coming back to the topic, yes, in AI too, say after this social media, I think we were one of the earlier institutions to to include data journalism, data analytics in the journalism programs. In way back in 2019, we have done it. And then about media literacy, yes, we were also trained. Personally, I was trained for media literacy by Google, and then even for AI also. Even now too, I'm working on like disseminating AI literacy for the students and faculty members and also professionals in the state of Madhya Pradesh. So having said all this, the core point, what I believe is that now the technology is working around content generation basically, because social media was talking about user generated content, but now we are talking about machine generated content, because that earlier case was about even dissemination, but now about the basic content generation in the space of journalism. So while discussing about that, the earlier speaker, I'm not remembering his name because I joined late, he also placed a concern area how the newsrooms are not having the clear AI code of ethics. So that there rises a need for self-regulations. And also there is a hope that systems will stabilize, because this is an evolving stage and we are expecting the systems to establish, and there is a need to work on prompt engineering. And then there is this is the high time to adopt agentic AI. That is what the things that we are discussing from morning, I believe. But since this session is specific to journalism education and research in the AI era, I would like to underline few points related to these two things. That how should we see journalism education in the age of AI? What are the core competency skills that we should adopt? Like what we are expected to give to the next generation of journalists who are with us. So AI literacy must become an essential part in our course curriculum, because otherwise even we have started an initiative as a weekend masterclass where we give uh, the basic training on AI and deepfakes to our passing out students, to the final year students, so that they will adopt to the AI tools. And also we are trying to give a bit of exposure to the coding, so that when they are out, when they meet the industry, they should not feel out of the box. So understanding algorithms, data ethics, automation tools they'll become vital for the future journalists. So this has to become an integral part of our curriculum. So we have to embed modules for like AI in media, data journalism, and we have to speak about algorithmic bias and how to counter it by using prompt engineering. That will also be a compulsory part, apart from like how to handle the automated newsrooms into mainstream journalism syllabi. And about content creation to curation, how to shift the focus from manual news production to managing and verifying AI generated content. So verification will become a major part that has to be one important module of our curriculum. And it's essential to develop the cross disciplinary skills. So blending journalism with data science, coding, even analytics, media analytics and digital ethics must be there. And I think my very personal view is that every educational institution having a journalism department should have a simulated AI lab. I think we should start it, because as ma'am said earlier, earlier institutions were having their computer labs. Later we had multimedia labs. Now we should have AI media labs in universities so that students can have an hands-on practice with generative AI tools, though they use it through their mobile, but then having a group learning will be more productive. And as far as the research topics are concerned in journalism and AI, we should go for algorithmic journalism, where we can explore how news automation impacts newsroom diversity, accuracy, or editorial independence. And ethics is one main part where we need to study about the bias in AI generated news. This we always do in training sessions, and how to develop ethical frameworks for responsible use. And apart from that, audience analytics is also another important thing which has to be addressed, and personalization also, because about recommendations, content recommendations, and AI driven audience segmentation has to be seen. And these are all the topics where we can work on as far as the research in AI is concerned. Other than that, misinformation and deepfakes, I was just listening to few research paper presentations earlier in the same seminar. So there are AI tools which are used for detection, verification, and combating misinformation. We have more scope for research in those areas. Very recently, even during the war with Pakistan, we have seen that there were many misinformation, and PIB was handling, I think they were working on some 200 plus videos which tried to spread misinformation. And then the impact on employment on roles can also be researched. So how to we need to investigate how AI redefines the journalistic roles and skills. They cannot be replaced, but how it had redefined, and what are the skills needed in the hybrid human AI newsrooms. We always believe that no technology can replace a human intervention or a human role. It can only assist us. End of the day, we have to verify it. And about the AI transparency and accountability also. So we have to work on it. And how the journalism curricula has to evolve to include AI literacy or digital ethics. How should we include AI tools into classroom assignments and newsroom simulation? It's not only for assignment, even for evaluation also. We can also evaluate the assignments by using AI tools. So even as educators, how will we incorporate it, and what balance should be maintained between the traditional reporting skills and the AI-driven storytelling? So there are a lot many things which we can work on. And the future, the final point is that what should be the future outlook? That how can there be human AI collaboration? AI should be as a co-creator, not as a replacement for us. And AI in newsroom management, how from audience prediction to workflow optimization, how we can do, how to use the emerging tools. Just today we had a discussion on 5G broadcast. So how voice synthesis, how automated translation, how AR VR based immersive storytelling can be handled, and how the AI narratives at the global versus the local level, how it should be done, how to develop indigenous models for regional journalism practices. There was one other research paper which spoke about the limitations of using AI tools for Telugu and in English, how we are using. So we have to work for regional practices also. And then end of the day, how AI can be used for social good. That is the main important, as Madam mentioned lastly, that there should be humanization in the story that is being told by us as an educator or by as a professional. So how AI can amplify the credible information, how it can amplify the fact checking and civic participation, that has to be taken care. These are the initial thoughts that I wanted to share with you. Over to you, sir. And thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Ma'am Shashikala explored about the data journalism, data analytics, media literacy, and digital literacy, and also content creation to curation, in addition to the verification, redefining of the journalism in the AI era. And also, Madam suggested all the institutions, journalism educational institutions to establish AI labs. Very good, ma'am. Very good suggestions from you. Thank you very much once again, ma'am. Next, I will call upon Professor Mohammad Faryad, sir.
Very good afternoon to all. Adab, namaskar. One small correction is there. Uh, Day before yesterday, I have handed over the charge of a department to my other colleague. Now I am holding only the responsibility of the dean of the school. I am not going to take much time. Many things are, I'm not going to repeat most of the point which were uh, said by our earlier speakers. I'm going to directly on my topic, the future of the journalism education and research in AI era. जैसा मैडम ने कहा, पहले भी बताया कि एक ह्यूज गैप रहा है हमेशा से मीडिया इंडस्ट्री में और एकेडमिया में, कि वो एक्सेप्ट ही नहीं करते। हम जब भी कभी एकेडमिक्स के लोग अगर इंडस्ट्री के लोगों से मिलते हैं, उनका हमेशा ये कंप्लेन होता है कि यू यूनिवर्सिटी पीपल, जो आपके स्टूडेंट अभी पूरे कॉम्पिटेंट नहीं है, वो यहाँ आने के बाद उनको बहुत सिखाना पड़ता है। उनको प्लीज वो सिखा के भेजिए जो हमें यहाँ जरूरत है। और मुझे लगता है ये पिछले 5-6 जो डिकेड्स है, स्टिल वो एग्जिस्ट करता है। वो कहीं ना कहीं वो कंप्लेन अभी भी एग्जिस्ट करता है। रिसेंटली 3-4 days बैक व्हेन आई वाज इन दिल्ली विद माय स्टूडेंट्स इन फॉर एजुकेशनल टूर, वहां भी जो मैंने देखा, तो जनरली वहां इसी तरह की कंप्लेन थी। जब हमने कैरियर शुरू किया एज अ रिपोर्टर, एज अ कब रिपोर्टर, हम मैडम ने जैसा बताया कि टाइपराइटर बहुत कंपलसरी होता था। इफ यू हैव एबल टू टाइप ऑन टाइपराइटर, देन ओनली यू विल गेट एडमिशन इन एनी न्यूज रूम। तो हम उसके पहले भी ये होता था कि हम हाथ से लिख के देते थे, समवन टाइप्ड, और फिर वो प्रूफ रीडिंग के लिए जाता था, और फिर कहीं पब्लिश होता था। पेजिनेटर होता था जो चिपकाता था एक एक न्यूज को, साइज सेलेक्ट करता था। और फिर कंप्यूटर एज आया, और अचानक से पेजिनेटर, टाइपिस्ट और बहुत सारे पोस्ट वॉश आउट हो गए। उनकी जगह नए पोस्ट आ गए। मेरा अपना मानना है कि एआई का ये जो दौर है, मैं इसको वेलकम करता हूं, मैं इसका स्वागत करता हूं, इस्तकबाल करता हूं, मैं इसको बहुत खुशाइन मानता हूं, अच्छा मानता हूं, जर्नलिज्म और मीडिया इंडस्ट्री के लिए भी और पूरे सोसाइटी के लिए भी, लेकिन सर्टेन रेस्ट्रिक्शंस के साथ। एआई के इस दौर में ठीक है, सारी चीजें बहुत ऑटोमेटेड हो गई, बहुत जल्दी जो कैलकुलेशन घंटों में होता था। मुझे लगता है कोई स्टोरी लिखने के लिए हमें 2-3 दिन लगते थे। हम सारे फैक्ट्स इकट्ठा करते थे, कोटेशंस इकट्ठा करते थे, और तब कहीं जाके कुछ होता था। एआई आज वो कुछ बहुत सेकंड्स में कर देता है। हमें कोई बुक का अगर पढ़ना होता था, 10-20 बुक, तो शायद महीनों लगते थे कुछ बुक्स में। आज हम ग्रो को ऑर्डर करते हैं कि हमें जो अच्छे इकोनॉमिक्स के बुक्स हैं, 10 अच्छे इकोनॉमिक्स के बुक हमें आप सजेस्ट करिए। और फिर उसके बाद जो अच्छी बुक्स होती थी, हम उसको कमांड देते हैं कि हमें उसका समरी बता दीजिए। हम समरी पढ़ के समझ जाते हैं कि इस बुक में क्या है, और फिर जो हमें इंटरेस्टिंग लगता है हम तब उस बुक की तरफ जाते हैं। हमें वो घंटों महीनों वेट करने की जरूरत नहीं है। लेकिन बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस भी सामने आते हैं। मैं क्लासरूम में अपने स्टूडेंट्स को कभी कभी देखता हूँ ना, तो हाथ से ऐसे ऐसे करते रहते हैं, जैसे वो बुक और कॉपी में भी लगता है कुछ बड़ा करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। वो इंटरनेट जो मोबाइल फोन का जो उनका आदत है। बहुत सारे एथिकल इश्यूज है। जब हम शुरू में एज अ कैरियर मैंने जब शुरू किया था एज अ क्राइम रिपोर्टर, हमसे कहते थे कि आप क्राइम को बहुत हाईलाइट मत करो, आप जो है ना ऐसा लिखो कि लोग क्राइम से हेट करने लगे। ये बहुत एथिकल हमें बताया जाता था। लेकिन साथ में ह्यूमन एंगल स्टोरीज भी होती थी। एआई, मुझे लगता है कि आज के तारीख में जो ह्यूमन जिस तरह की ह्यूमन एंगल स्टोरी लिख सकता है खुद ह्यूमन इंटरवेंशन से, एआई के लिए शायद अभी मुश्किल है उस तरह की स्टोरी। हार्ड स्टोरीज के लिए कोई इशू नहीं है, खूब स्टोरी प्रोड्यूस हो जाएंगी, कई 100 टाइम्स ज्यादा स्टोरी प्रोड्यूस हो जाएंगी। जर्नलिज्म एजुकेशन का जहां तक सवाल है, मैं बार बार कहता हूं, जैसा प्रोफेसर शशिकला मैम ने भी कहा कि हमें टाइम के साथ अपग्रेड होना पड़ेगा, चेंज करना पड़ेगा एआई टूल्स के। मुझे लगता है आप क्लासरूम में हाउ टू राइट अ 5W+1H फॉर्मूले से कहीं आगे बढ़ के हमें उन टूल्स को इंटीग्रेट करने की बात करनी पड़ेगी। और इतना रैपिडली चेंज हो रही है टेक्नोलॉजी कि आप अभी एक टूल बता रहे हैं और तब तक पता चला कि जब तक कोर्स कंप्लीट होगा आपको पता चला उसका एडवांस वर्जन भी मार्केट में है या उसका दूसरा वर्जन भी मार्केट में है। तो मुझे लगता है बहुत रैपिडली हमें कॉन्टिन्यूअस ट्रेनिंग की जरूरत है, मीडिया एजुकेटर्स को भी और मीडिया स्टूडेंट्स को भी। अगर वो नहीं ये ट्रेन होंगे तो वो आउट आउट ऑफ द मार्केट हो जाएंगे, किनारे हो जाएंगे, पेजिनेटर की तरह, कॉपी एडिटर जो बहुत सारे होते थे और उनकी तरह। तो मुझे लगता है कहीं ना कहीं इंटीग्रेट करने की जरूरत है एआई टूल्स को। दूसरी चीज जो अभी भी एआई टूल्स का जो हम यूज करते हैं आमतौर पे मीडिया में, ट्रांसक्रिप्शन के लिए मान लीजिए यूज करते हैं, चाहे डेटा एनालिसिस के लिए करते हैं, ट्रांसलेशन वर्क के लिए भी करते हैं, लेकिन वो परफेक्शन अभी भी बाकी है। और वो शायद इसलिए कि मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि अभी जो एआई है बहुत अर्ली एज में है। लेकिन मुझे ऐसा लगता है, आई पर्सनली आई बिलीव कि विद इन 2-3 इयर्स सिनेरियो पूरी तरह चेंज होने जा रहा है। इतना ड्रास्टिक चेंज होगा कि जैसे लगेगा कि रात को हम सोए और सुबह कहाँ आ गए, कुछ उसी तरह एआई करने वाला है। जब चैट जीपीटी आया था तो चैट जीपीटी के जो फाउंडर्स ने बड़े बड़े दावे किए थे कि किसी को जर्नलिस्ट ने पूछा कि आपका ये जो इतना बढ़िया है और क्या दूसरा कोई भी कोशिश कर सकता है, दूसरी तरफ भी आपको लगता है कि दूसरा कोई बना सकता है? उन्होंने कहा नहीं नहीं, लोग कोशिश कर सकते हैं लेकिन सक्सेस नहीं होंगे। जब ग्रोक आया और ग्रोक ने उससे ज्यादा एडवांस वर्जन दिया कुछ मामलों में, तो मुझे लगता है कि कहीं ना कहीं इस तरह की चीजें पीछे छूट जाती हैं। डेटा जर्नलिज्म और एनालिटिक्स की बात हो चुकी है, मैडम ने पहले बताया कि आज डेटा जर्नलिज्म पे बहुत बात कर रहे हैं। लेकिन डेटा जर्नलिज्म को क्लासरूम में जो भी हमें बताने की जरूरत है, जिससे वो जो ट्रेंड्स की बात हो, चाहे हमें कहीं ना कहीं डेटा लिटरेसी की अब बात करनी पड़ेगी। जब हम शुरू करते थे तो होता था कि भाई कंप्यूटर लिटरेसी की बात करें। आज भी इंडिया में, लेकिन आज भी हमारे इंडिया में 2011 के बाद चूंकि सेंसस नहीं हुआ, वही डेटा है कि 73% इंडियंस ही केवल लिटरेट हैं। अभी भी मोर देन 1/4 इंडियंस अभी भी लिटरेट भी नहीं है, मतलब वो एक कोई किसी भी वर्ड में अपना सिग्नेचर भी नहीं कर सकते, किसी भी लैंग्वेज में। वैसे में एक एआई एक बड़ा चैलेंज होगा। शायद मैम ने इस्लामी फोबिया की बात की, जिसमें फेसबुक का रोल रहा, व्हाट्सएप का। हम फॉरेन, म्यांमार का तो है, यूपी में एक स्टडी जब मैंने की थी, और उस स्टडी में हमने देखा कि यूपी में जितने भी कम्युनल राइट्स हुए, उन कम्युनल राइट्स में बहुत बड़ा रोल तो सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म व्हाट्सएप का था। क्योंकि पब्लिक को, हम एज अ ट्रेनर हमें पता है कि हाँ ठीक है इसको फैक्ट चेक करने का है, डॉक्टर सुधाकर जी हैं जो मास्टर ट्रेनर हैं और हर जगह ट्रेन करते हैं, इनको तो पता है कि हम चेक कर लेंगे। लेकिन ग्रास रूट पे जो आम पब्लिक है, जो लिटरेट या बहुत लिटिल लिटरेट है, उसको कुछ भी नहीं पता होता है। उसको महाराष्ट्र पुलिस का बैच या तेलंगाना पुलिस का बैच नहीं दिखता, वो पुलिस की सिर्फ वर्दी देखती है और उसको फॉरवर्ड करती है, वो बोलते हैं ऐसा हो गया। कितने लिंचिंग सिर्फ और सिर्फ इसी वजह से हुए क्योंकि लोगों को वो लिटरेसी नहीं थी। दूसरी चीज जो बात है वो है ह्यूमन इंटरवेंशन की। आज हमें लगता है कि फेसबुक ने बहुत ही या सोशल मीडिया ने हमें बहुत ही डेमोक्रेटिक बना दिया। मैं दोबारा रिविजिट करना चाहूंगा अरब स्प्रिंग। अरब में बिल्कुल बाहर लानी है, सब ठीक कर देना है। इजिप्ट के प्राइम मिनिस्टर का जिस तरह से वहां हुआ, मर्डर हुआ, और इस तरह से करके क्या हम दोबारा रिविजिट किए कि वाकई वहां स्प्रिंग आया नहीं आया? नेपाल में डेमोक्रेसी को लेके और बहुत कुछ करके सब तहस नहस करना शुरू किया, बांग्लादेश में करना शुरू किया। आज दोबारा हम रिविजिट करें कि जिस उम्मीद के साथ सोशल मीडिया के उन लोगों ने, सोशल मीडिया के उस उकसावा कह लीजिए, पे जो किया था, क्या रिविजिट करने की जरूरत नहीं है? हम मीडिया रिसर्चर को जरूरत है कि दोबारा से हम बात करें कि जिस काम के लिए जो मकसद बता के किया गया था, क्या वो मकसद पूरा हुआ? सॉरी, प्रोफेसर श्रीनिवास जी को मैं दोबारा मुबारकबाद दूंगा, उनका इशारा भी मैं समझ रहा हूँ। मैं, हम लोग खुद भी प्लान कर रहे थे एआई पे कुछ हम वर्कशॉप या सेमिनार करेंगे, लेकिन मैं जब तक करता तब तक प्रोफेसर श्रीनिवास जी का खुद मैसेज आ गया कि हम ये कर रहे हैं इनविटेशन। तो आई एम वेरी मच थैंकफुल टू द यूनिवर्सिटी अथॉरिटीज ऑफ कि इतना अच्छा टॉपिक पे आपने किया, स्पेशली डीन प्रोफेसर श्रीनिवास जी और सभी साथियों को। मैं बहुत ज्यादा टाइम ले लूंगा, इन्हीं के साथ बेहद शुक्रिया।
Thank you very much, Faryad sir. Faryad sir, in his speech, expressed about the competences of journalism students, welcomes AI technology with restrictions and controls, and also discussed about the ethical issues in the present era, and also explained about the upgradation in the syllabus as well as how to use the tools of upcoming journalists. Also, the importance, he expressed about the importance of human intervention. Thank you very much, sir. Once again, I now welcome the Professor Tejasvi Naulu, sir.
Good afternoon, experts on the dais and off the dais. I would avoid all the repetition and straight away propose a few things that are relevant to the theme of this workshop. Coming to journalism education and also research in the field of journalism, there are a few things that need to focus on. And as a person, as an expert associated with the AI for the last 7 years, and also heading one of the responsible projects that is directly linked with like what is happening now, I would request the August presence here to think over like how syllabus can be reframed, how new skills for the students, how additional skills for the faculty, and how the policy for the overall change of the education. These things are to be taken care of. And we have seen in the last 3-4 years, particularly in the university system, coming to the journalism education, not everything is good. Most of the departments across the country are being closed. And most of the departments which performed well and they had their achievements named, but they are experiencing the admission downfall. A couple of universities in my state, Karnataka, they have received 0 admissions, 0 applications for journalism program. The same thing with the other programs and certifications which are being proposed by the open universities as well. My university, we had a department, we were the earliest to introduce a program way back in 1967. From 1967 to 2003, the program remained unchanged. In 2003, the program what we had to scrap it. And that is when I walked into the academics. My first challenge was in a particular meeting where I proposed changes and brought in a few drastic inputs in terms of the academic learning. I had to face around 7 months of resistance from the administration simply because a new program cannot be introduced because we have a printed material which is sufficient for the next almost 13 years. Very next day, I resigned. They called me back, and when I went back, there was a condition. If you permit me to change the program, only then I'll join the university. That was the situation. And since yesterday, looking at many of the papers being presented here, I think we need to take a same drastic situation, steps again. Looking at what is being presented as the research papers, I'm extremely sorry to note that everything that is being presented here in the name of research and also findings leads to the very own algorithms of ChatGPT, which I use. So 2 examples I'll give you. Whoever has used the digit 3 in your papers and also the reference of the content from 2021 to 25, I can bet it is from ChatGPT. Echo chambers, the other filter bubbles, they will never come to you without ChatGPT. So what we need to do is, we need to change the very spine of the journalism syllabus. No point in upgrading it, no point in revising it. We need to change the very spine, the very backbone of the syllabus that is being given out across the country. Then think of a policy. Probably, I think the seminar, also the experts here would propose to Government of India and also to various state governments to bring in a policy, because education institutions are quite forward, I mean, quite ahead of proposing AI in whatever rudimentary form they are. But Government of India, for a strange reason is lacking behind. So I hope this seminar would propose such a policy to the government, where you have a coordinated effort across campuses to bring in those changes. Particularly for an immediate program that is very much required is a training program for the trainers. 99% of journalism teachers whom I interact with regularly, they are comfortable in identifying the pitfalls of AI or the benefits of AI, but nobody is comfortable in using the tools. Most of them, they don't even know that the tools exist. And also, the kind of opinion that is being built is also based on AI. So I recommend this session to deliberate upon on these two particular things, bringing in drastic changes, change the spine of the very syllabus of the journalism education, then work out a policy that would be beneficial. And many of the researchers who were talking about AI, and they were mentioning a lot of timeframes. Yesterday, one of the experts said that in the next 10 years. Now, 10 years is too long a time. I'm talking about the next 180 days. And the other expert said, without humans. I'm sorry, 98% of the humans and the human effort, particularly in content generation, has been replaced already. So only 2% of the humans, they are fighting against the trend. Computers have started understanding English language. You no longer need the typical, IT codes. It's not only computers can think, they can even discuss. They can plan, they can execute, they can replace, they can suggest better things. Of course, everything is driven by data and also the large learning modules and the data sets that we have. But that is getting enlarged every day. And we have opinion like whenever there is a power cut, AI will not work. And human has to, yesterday someone suggested that. I'm sorry, for AI, there will be no dearth of power. Power will be continuous. There will be many more nuclear reactors to support the data centers. That is the kind of change that what we expect. So today, I'm here to suggest a few things in terms of the deliberations. And I hope this August presence would further those discussions just in the form of a policy. So I have the privilege of leading one of the projects for ChatGPT, and I'm overseeing around 1,200 experts who are working on the Indian language models. And today, probably those models are rudimentary. Next 180 days, so that is the time limit which has been set by the project to see that it works. So including Telugu, Hindi, Punjabi, Kannada, Malayalam, Tamil, around 14 different languages, and their models are getting ready. So the next wave will not be in English, it will be in Indian languages. And of course, China is way ahead of us. some of the European languages are way ahead of us. So what we need to think beyond ChatGPT, think beyond the rudimentary research, and most of the surveys like what you have done, I'm very sorry to say those results will never yield anything significant. So what you need to work upon is like how you train yourself first, then understand the scenario, understand the change, and swim along with the trends. Thanks a lot.
Many thanks to the Professor Naval sir. Sir expressed about the change, the importance of the change of the syllabus and policy in the journalism education. And sir, again, one more suggestion by the sir, that is the regular training programs for the trainers, that is teachers of journalism. One more suggestion from the sir is that is a AI incorporate in the Indian languages. That is very much important for today's contemporary system. Thank you very much, sir. I welcome now Professor M.A. Jabbar, sir, to deliver his message.
Yeah, very good afternoon, one and all. My panel members and the organizers and the participants who are participating in this 2 days national seminar. I'm from the engineering domain. I'm working as a professor and head of the department for a department of AI and ML, Vardhaman College of Engineering. Majority of the speakers, they discussed about, like journalism and also AI. AI, let me speak about what actually AI is and how it evolved. Right? Let us assume, there is no power supply. If there is no mic, power supply, everything. So what will be our position now? We cannot wait even for half an hour or 45 minutes without power supply. Assume 100 years back. Now we completely depend on the power supply. Similarly, AI is also going to change. It is a disruptive technology. AI is a new current. We need to adapt. Majority of the people, you think AI is new. No, it started in the 1970. Alan Turing, he started. He conducted one test called Alan Turing test. He tested a machine, whether it is a machine or human being. He kept one machine in one room and he asked another person to stay in the another room. He asked some questions. If a machine gives the same similar answers, like a machine, he said, yes, this machine has the capability as artificial intelligence. He called it as Alan Turing test. So artificial intelligence, every human being, we have the intelligence. Manakandar burra undi. How, so we need to adapt the intelligence. We are making the machines to think, to act like a human being. That is called artificial intelligence. So this artificial intelligence has been used in many of the areas. Like it may be healthcare. It may be, let us take the stock market, whether I need to predict in which stock I need to invest. There are so many AI tools. I need to predict the weather. There are tools, and AI is not new. Even for the journalism also, in 2000 itself they started to predict the news as well as the weather. Of course, we are almost at 1 decade lagging from when compared with other countries. Right? Why actually the people are running behind the AI? As I mentioned, AI is a disruptive technology. It is going to change. We need to adapt. Samudra itla vastune ankondi. We need to stand on the top. Otherwise, we are going to vanish. There is a proverb: struggle for survival and fight for existence. Yes, we need to adapt the new technology. At the same time, when AI is adapted in each and every field, there are some kind of ethical considerations are there. And again, there is some research happening, ethical AI. Ethical AI. And let us take when we apply for the healthcare industries. If I give the X-ray, okay, especially in the COVID era, there are so many patients okay, affected with the COVID. How with limited doctors, they identified whether the person is having the COVID or not. AI help, generative AI help. If I give the CT scan or X-ray, it will identify a person having the COVID or not. So how, okay, I need to cross-verify whether the artificial intelligence has given the correct answer or not. That's why we came, okay, again, there is a research happening that is called explainable AI. Once a judgment has given, answer given, it has to give explainable, it has to explain why it is correct and why it is wrong. Similarly, we need to adapt, okay, this in the journalism also, because it's not a new technology, right? And another is journalism will need journalists. Journalism will need journalists, okay, for emotional depth, ethical judgment. We need not worry about this one, but we need to adapt this trending technology. But why? If I let us take adapt, what will happen? I think morning Srinivas Reddy sir also said there are so many challenges are there. Deep fake, creating a fake video, creating a fake image, creating fake text. Okay, people started again doing the research on deepfake technology. One of my research scholars, she is doing on deepfake technology. How the videos will be created, how to identify the deepfake. And another is, okay, when you, okay, what are the challenges? I just mentioned one is the deepfake technology. Another is lot of, okay, bias. Okay, I think morning also, Srinivas studies are mentioned, lot of bias, and there is no transparency. Okay, the AI, the model is created by us. It's created by us. Earlier days, we have lot of people, will call a lot of servants to do our work. Even in our homes also, we are, okay, fully automatic machines like that one. They are fully automatic machine nowadays. They are equipped with the fuzzy logic. They are running with artificial intelligence. We need a lot of servants to reduce our work. That's why the human, what he started now, I need, okay, machines which do my work, which simplifies our work. Slowly he started building the artificial intelligence. That's why we need to make sure that there is a less bias and more transparency. That's why, okay, there are several systems developed for ethical AI also. And people want AI, even though we belongs to the AI, people want AI and journalism, but not, okay, as a journalist. We need to, okay, again, cross-verify. AI might write the initial draft, but as a journalist, okay, we need to cross-verify, okay, because ultimately we need to, okay, disseminate the truth. And there are various tools also available, like just now Sarazo mentioned. Okay, there are some couple of, yes, we cannot stop people using the chat GPT, anything. But for this counter also, we have various tools which are used to check whether a document is used, okay, chat GPT or not. There is a tool called free available tool, like Quillbot. If you copy text in the text box, it will tell you how much text is plagiarism, AI plagiarism. It is an open source, Quillbot. And there are other, okay, tools are also there, like a Turnitin. Generally, in our institution, we used to, okay, whenever a student submit the thesis or the paper, we used to run. There are so many tools are also available. But only, in the morning also, there is a discussion that, okay, like there are the layoffs. When the industry is shifting, okay, and long decade also, when the calculator was invented, the mathematics teacher, they came on the roads and they started, okay, strike. No, we are going to lose the jobs. No. Okay. So there is a much demand now for mathematics. Similarly, when AI introduced, okay, obviously we need to adapt, but in an ethical, okay, in a, okay, the proper way, we need to adapt the artificial intelligence even for the journalism also. So once again, I thank the organizers for inviting me for this okay, today's seminar. And I hope the participants will enjoy all the sessions. Thank you and God bless you.
Much obliged, Professor Jabbar sir. Jabbar sir emphasized about the technological aspects of AI and also the need of adoption of AI in the journalism practice, and also discussed about the ethical judgment that is required for all journalists and also practitioners. Thank you very much, sir. And now I will invite Dr. K. Rajaram sir to deliver his message.
Thank you, Sunil. Good afternoon. Professor Padma Shah and Shashikala ma'am and all other esteemed experts have already given guided us in how to go about AI and integrate AI into our journalism education. I will give you some 5 case studies how AI has already been being used by different media organizations at the global level. The Washington Post uses AI to monitor story performance. It's assessing the performance of the stories filed by journalists. The New York Times is using AI to personalize content, which is, we always that algorithmic bias we have been talking about for last 2 days. BBC World Service has automated, it's translating news into multiple languages. These are the major case studies. Reuters has AI tools in place to data mining based stories. They're all automated. So we have already entered into the AI driven newsrooms. When we started, it was typewriters, as they pointed out. When I joined in Indian Express in late 90s, we were trained in computers. And later, we have been teaching the same things to our students for decades. And we realized that something is missing in our journalists. And as Sir pointed out, that our people, our students are not getting enough jobs. So then we realized that EFLU and we started BA in digital communication to cater to the latest needs of the media industry. And by the time we have launched our courses and we are 3 years into the program, then we realized something is missing and this AI disruptor has come. So we have started inviting people like Sudhakar Reddy Garu and taking lectures for training our students. So it's time that we realize that we have already entered into the AI-driven newsrooms, AI-driven journalism, AI-driven like training classes. Content creation is becoming independent of journalists. There is a contention about that, but it's time that we need to revamp our syllabi. We need to we need to improve our laboratories like AI lab, so that our students will not be out of place to work in these modern AI-based journalism workplaces. So it's important that, first of all, we as the teachers, without shying, we need to undergo those trainings. We are 5 years into NEP, still we are being trained in NEP by these MMTTS, like Malviya Mission Training Centers. We are already 5 years into NEP. We have been implementing NEP. Still, it's time that these AI technologies, teachers must be trained in the first place so that we will be able to train the future journalists in such cases. This is my suggestion for the policymakers through this research. Thank you, Srinivas sir. Thank you.
Very brief views. Sir expressed about the case studies, 2 or 3 case studies, and also about the algorithmic bias in the AI. Thank you very much, sir, once again. Now I request Dr. Kurmanath KV, sir, please deliver your message.
Good afternoon, friends. This is the toughest part. I am between you and the lunch. But I will try to finish it off as early as possible. So this topic is very close to me because this is the topic as an IT reporter. I have been covering it. I have been using it. I am testing it. No, but also one of my first researches, PhDs in convergence, post ChatGPT, post LLM is mine. I have completed my PhD in 2023. A few months after ChatGPT, Bard, and other things have come in place. Sir, Tejasvi sir, I have not used ChatGPT in my PhD. My plagiarism is just 3%. So, how many, see, of late, how many of you have seen elephants in the city? In Hyderabad? 100 of them? 100? I have seen 100, 150, 200. And maybe Krishnavani ma'am, if she is there on the call, maybe in Bhopal, she may, I don't know whether she has seen elephants on Bhopal streets. Mysuru and other cities, Kochi, from the places you are seeing, how many of you have you seen elephants on the roads now?
Sir, in 26 years, I saw only one elephant in Bhopal. Only once one elephant.
But sir, okay, ma'am. But I have seen 200 or 300 elephants in Hyderabad over the last 1 year. Have you seen? How many of you, can identify an elephant in the auditorium?
Every one of us.
Madhavi is quite diligent. She understands the question. So the elephant is right in front of us, in the middle of us. It is listening to us, perhaps through the phones that we have given permission for mics. The generative AI is listening to us more attentively than any one of you. Every single word that we have spoken, it is not just it has listened to it, it has grasped that, and it is going to use in further answers that it's going to give. That is the kind of the problem, the challenge that we are in now. The urgency is so much that we have to act now. As students, you have to learn. As practitioners, I have to learn. And as academics, you people, academicians, I am an academician of late, part-time though. I am a visiting faculty at Mahindra University. We all should internalize, and administrators like Srinivas Garu, it is an urgent situation, a call for urgency for all of us. See, I have seen 3 revolutions in journalism. I started my career in 1993, 94. I have seen 3 revolutions. Srinivas Garu was my contemporary when I joined journalism. As Madam Padmaja Shah, actually I'm a bit nervous talking in front of Padmaja Shah Madam. She was my teacher 30 years ago, but I'm not looking at her and talking directly, looking at you. See, 3 revolution I have seen so far. From a journalism college from Andhra University, reading books about radio, television, and newspapers. When I joined newspapers in 1994, that was the first time the computers were being introduced in newsrooms. So that was the first revolution, as Madam has already referred to it. It has killed 3-4 departments. The composers were gone, and the pacemakers were gone, and the proofreaders were gone at a single shot. Computerization. That was the first revolution. The second revolution, I mean, there is no categorization. I'm just categorized myself. In 2000s, internet has come, and internet has yet again disturbed the whole thing. Those who have refused to use internet, I mean the Twitter, filing for internet and all that, they were also slightly sidelined out of the profession. And then in 2010s, we have seen social media, same thing has happened. And people who refuse to be on social media, journalists I'm talking about, they were simply faded away. And then we are in the midst of, not in the, it started only 2 years ago, but we are in the midst of a kind of tsunami. I call it tsunami. It is a silent tsunami. If you are a practitioner, if you are a teacher, if you are a student, you can see that. I just conservatively said it was an elephant. Actually, they are not elephants. They are dinosaurs. They are actually tsunami sweeping away. I am not trying to scare you away. I am calling you for attention and urgent action. So, as see, we are at a university at the right place, and of the 2 days, I feel that this is the apt topic that for journalism education. That is the current topic for us, journalism education. I mean, artificial intelligence in journalism education and research. See, we all use AI. For most people, AI means ChatGPT and Gemini AI or cloud or 3, 4 other things or 1,000 other thing. If you are discerning enough, we have 1,000 other tools we may be using in journalism. But AI or generative AI is not just ChatGPT and Gemini AI. We should understand that as academicians and administrators of universities, we should think at 2, 3 levels. One is the preliminary tools that we are using or we are going to use, whether we are using enough number of tools and whether we are using them correctly. See, most of the people, students, or even researchers, some of the academicians also, they are using generative AI tools just to write, create content and use it to somewhere. If it is there in your academic records or textbooks or answers, that is okay. As long as they are sleeping there, that is okay. But once this content goes online, the repercussions are very serious. One is the artificial intelligence that is creating content. It doesn't like artificial content developed by artificial intelligence. Please remember this. If you are thinking that you are creating a wonderful article on Shakespeare and you are publishing it somewhere in academic paper, which will go online at some point of time, you are mistaken completely. You think that without reading Shakespeare, without reading George Bernard Shaw, without reading McLuhan, so you think that you have developed an article and you are publishing it somewhere, you will become a laughing stock. Because if you are not using, if you are using ChatGPT or Gemini, not knowing about Shakespeare, and you are writing an article on Shakespeare or whatever topic, US tariffs or Ukraine war or Palestine, whatever subject you may be using the LLMs for developing content, you will end up laughing stock. If you are a journalist, not only your reputation is at stake, your publication's reputation is at stake. Because AI, two things. AI doesn't like AI content. That is proper and period, all caps. And the second thing is there is a thing of plagiarism. Things get it might have taken a report from me or some other expert on Shakespeare. If you know Shakespeare, you take notes on Shakespeare using LLM. Please remember that you can learn, but when you are publishing something, so what I am what I am telling you is first learn basic things, and then learn means these needs to be in journalism school. When I'm talking about, no, please understand that that is for the topic for AI in journalism education. First, you should teach students the basic tools, how to use them, how not to use them. That is the basic thing. And second level is how to use it for research purposes. See, there are now reasoning models are available. All the big models, no, they are coming out with the reasoning models. You teach them prompt engineering. That should be one lesson, complete lesson or 2 lessons. How actually you should engage with LLMs, and that is the second thing. You need to take this bar upper, and then how to use it for research purposes. When you are using it research purposes, that doesn't mean that you download the output and use it for your research purposes. As it is, India is at the rock bottom in the world research standing. US, China, France, other countries are at the top level. Our share is not even 1%, 2%. So you should not be using that research content as it is. And what you should do is it identifies the most authoritative websites. You go to the references that LLMs are giving, go back to the text, and then you read it, and then you come out with your own report. Then your research output will be a better output. So education, the syllabus in journalism schools should be the basic tools, the upper level tools, and the third part is you should design all this pedagogy in a proper form. You cannot wait 1 year or 2 years later. Professor Tejasvi was telling about his experience from 67 to 2006. There was no change in no, syllabus of a particular university. Incidentally, sir, the founding father of the university, the journalism department, Professor Nagaras, was my teacher. So you need to not necessarily change the syllabus every 2 years, 3 years, but you should keep watch on the things and you should be making those small tweaks. Small tweaks. See, we all use Instagram, no, in the COVID period and other times even now. We listen to one, one recipe saying that if you use ginger in tea, your backache will go. Immediately from next morning, we will buy 1 kilo of ginger and no a tea packet, 1 kilo of tea packet, and we start consuming. But doctors do not work like that. I asked a doctor, see, there is a wonderful remedy as suggested thing, and it is working for me. Why you people are not able to use it? See, I'm not just following a YouTube influencer. I followed say one paper, medical paper, and I tell him, see, this is the paper that is saying, why don't you prescribe this in your prescriptions? Then he tells me one interesting thing. See, Kurmanad, you are a general citizen, and it is your own body, you can do whatever you want to do. But as a practicing doctor, I cannot experiment. Even if it is a Stanford paper, I am not going to prescribe a medicine based on that. I only follow medical textbooks, or some people, ortho experts or neuro experts. If those top neuro experts includes that information in his textbook, I will follow. Otherwise, I simply follow those basic dolos or whatever. So we should be like that. We should be the practitioners, and the journalism schools must bring those elements into textbooks so that our usage of students, the usage by students will be scientific. So the third part is bringing those elements into pedagogy. And fourth important thing is we should have a critical critical thinking of things that are happening. We should not be scared. We should not be overwhelmed on what is happening around. And also we should not be skeptical about this. No, this won't work. This is copying. This is plagiarism. Yes, all those things are there. But as a journalist, as a journalism teacher, you should have a pragmatic approach to this. You should read, you should practice, you should learn, and then you should have a critical approach to this. What part of this, if I create content, that will be plagiarism? No, there are hundreds of ways where you can use UI, artificial intelligence, to curate your content, your own content. But you may be coming from a humble background, or you do not have enough wherewithal to learn so many things. But the content is yours. So when content is yours, if you have sufficient weaponry of AI, you can bring out a wonderful output, not just a news report or several other things. So these are and also the fourth important thing is ethical framework. You should teach your students how to responsibly use AI, like driving. Now, after getting a license, we do not use the other side for driving. We follow traffic rules like that. In the journalism college, we should tell students how to responsibly use AI. So these are the some points I would like to convey to you.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait. Thank you for the message of Dr. Kurmana sir. In his message, sir discussed about the challenges of AI and attention and also action, pedagogy of revised journalism, and also how to use AI in the journalism in a ethical manners. Thank you very much, sir, for your inputs. Now, the session is open for the question and answers. A very straight question and very briefly.
Just wait. Mention about Islamophobia and love jihad. Few days back, one fanatic threw a shoe on CJJ. What do you say compared with the love jihad?
Sir, we respect your opinion, sir. Please discuss at the lunchtime, sir, because we don't have time to discuss about this. Please ask straight question, anything. Only 1 or 2 questions permitted. Please, you ask Sheshu. Straight question, please. Sir. Sir, please. Wait. AI related and speech related only. Please, sir. Thank you. I'll discuss it.
Are the universities allowing the dissertations where these AI applications are used?
I can't talk on all behalf of all universities. Sir. As a research student, I can tell. Okay. Most universities, not most, all universities are using plagiarism before they bet every single PhD thesis before a plagiarism. That is a rule. No, it cannot cross certain limit.
No, I did very recently the Masters in Journalism and Mass Communication of IGNOU, and I could see 60% of the students were disqualified on the plea that they have, on the ground that they have used the AI. But I raised a point, as you said just now, the concept is mine, the content is mine. I won't use AI to make it trim. That's all, nothing else. No, I didn't use it, but on behalf of others, I argued that way. But I never use it. I don't know how to use AI at all. I can speak about it, I never use. But the students are facing this problem. That's why I'm requesting you to give your opinion about it.
See, you cannot use it to completely rewrite, sir. See, if you use Grammarly for slight changes. See, most of us who come from different regional backgrounds, we tend to miss out certain, say, articles. So those things can be corrected. But if you are using very basic thing in Telugu and asking it to Tamil or asking it to translate it to English, then they catch. So the content created by artificial intelligence, they leave certain footprint. They like forensics. These machines can catch them.
Hello, sir.
Your word, sir.
Sir.
No, we can tell it, sir. We can tell which language, British, English, you can use.
Yes, sir. Sir, no problem. So just wanted to add a couple of points. Most of the universities in India, particularly they follow the UGC guidelines and also directions. And the software that is being used now to look into the failure in the math, that is outdated by almost 10 years now. And today, they quantify plagiarism. If they say 5%, 10, 12, up to 12, they allow. Students are good enough, and the other alternatives are also good enough to bring in your plagiarism count to 0. But the next couple of months or probably a year, whatever has been uploaded in Shodhganga, you will be losing around 70% of the content as plagiarized content. Today, they are unable to check. And also, when it comes to English, it is possible. For the Indian languages, even if it is 100% plagiarized, we are not able to catch now. But in future, definitely it will be. So, the point here is to have a caution. Why depend on AI to write? See, writing is the basic skill. So any researcher who is coming out with a proposal or a report, if he is unable to write, then he is unfit to research. So that is the approach we need to take now. So depending on AI to correct your grammar, the rest of this thing, at this point in time, it looks good, but probably not in terms of the coming future.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So last question. So this is important. Like for example,
okay.
I just so when you are talking about like something like so I just look at Wittgenstein. So see now for example suppose now the LLMs the ChatGPT and anything. So they are like is earlier book like Tractatus Largo Philosophica. So we actually analyze that image theory, the picture of image theory. But now the context within the text, that is what exactly still transformers have been achieved so far. But the later philosophical investigation, so he changed his mind and he took that like, the context within the life, like for example, ChatGPT and all kind of, yeah, that is what. So now you are in question project. So the project actually is what? Context within the text is limited now. But context within the life, that is what exactly you're talking about 108 days. ChatGPT can understand, but that cannot be achieved with the present transformers, so which are sophisticated now. The LLMs are using it. So how do you see this one?
3 years ago, this was a dream, right? And today we have the 5th generation models which are working. And the speed at which each model changed, it is quite astonishing. From GPT-4 to GPT-5, the time taken was so less. And from 5 to the thinking models. And in future, it would be counted in the number of hours. That is the kind of speed that we are into. So as I said, English language has become officially the computer language now. Similarly, what Chinese have achieved and what a couple of European languages have achieved, we cannot lag behind. And we need to leave everything like whatever we have learned in terms of journalism, in terms of the other skill sets and the experience what we had. It is of no use today. That is the point where we have reached. Personally speaking, now I have taken up this responsibility because it may not be beneficial in any way as an academic, but have that satisfaction of being an Indian mind behind those models. And also not outsourcing this to someone else sitting somewhere in Beijing or maybe in San Francisco. So that is the reason why we need to take up that responsibility in developing a typical Indian rooted system. At least technically, if the foundations are laid now in that particular way, of course, in future definitely we would be competing with such big things. And Indian language modules, particularly developing rubrics, it becomes so difficult when compared to English language. English language, whatever we take, like let's say 10 minutes. Indian language, it is taking me 15 hours to wet those rubrics. But we need to thoroughly enjoy like the kind of experience what we are happening. And most of the things like whatever we talk today, it is so vague. Probably only future can answer and give a clarity on this. And coming back to journalism education, as a journalism teacher, today I want my syllabus to be a typical rolling document, not something which is being pushed from the top or staying here for years together, decades together. Probably even a couple of years would be so outdated. Every syllabus, probably not only journalism, of every higher education syllabus should be a rolling document. It has to change every semester, if at all it is not it. That should be the approach. And coming back to training, every level, right from the university administration to the MHRD, Government of India, they need to look into the kind of policies like that. A couple of years ago, I was part of a particular committee. Suggestions were taken, but when they published, I understand that some junior official in one of the ministries, he has finalized everything. So that should not happen. So the corporates, the conglomerates, they are so powerful today, they can dictate. See,
they're closing.
Much of the power is not with the countries. It is with the chips. owned by those conglomerates.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a time for the felicitation to the. No, no.
My teachers also came, because I was talking about all those things. Sir, I'm Dr. Parveen Sultana from BRAOU-Live Women's Degree College, Assistant Professor of Mass Communication and student of Padmaja. So here I take this opportunity to inform you that, as you told, that we have to introduce. So I'm proud to say that, at UG level, at BRAOU-Live, we have started a new course intervening with this mass communication as a BSc Digital Marketing course. So it is 3 papers. My question is that, when
you can discuss anything. We don't have time, that's the problem.
As you are suggesting, so why don't you propose the media literacy at the early secondary level, or so that, because the usage of media is such a huge amount of young children who are not educated.
Madam, you are a decade late. You are talking about media literacy today. You are a decade late. That is the speed at which the world is changing. Had we discussed media literacy 10 years ago, we would have been spot on.
But when we are into the
Madam, thank you. We have gone to such a level. Yes. That's the reality. And you are talking about the media literacy today, then it cannot be done. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, sir. It's a time for the felicitation to the panelists. It's a time for the felicitation to the panelists. I request Professor Srinivas Vadanam, sir, Dean of Faculty of Social Sciences, to felicitate the panelists.
Madam, kindly, I request, please accept our felicitation as a token of respect, ma'am.
Thanks, sir.
Ask all panelists. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
And I hope the session is very fruitful.
Thank you.
Professor Mohammad Faryad, sir. Professor Tejasvi Navalur, sir. Professor M.A. Jabbar, sir.
Wait. Thank you, sir. बहुत शुक्रिया आपका. Nice.
Yes. Thank you very much, Professor Padmaja Madam, Professor Shashikala Madam, Professor Mohammad Faryad sir, Professor Tejasvi Navalur sir, Professor M.A. Jabbar sir, Dr. K. Rajaram sir, and Dr. Kurmanand K.V. sir. Thank you very much once again from the Department of Journalism and Mass Communication.
Rajaram sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam, Professor Shashikala Madam, who joined us over the Zoom. I request the participants to please join the lunch and come back by within the 15 minutes, and we have one more technical session. It will start soon, very soon. Please come back within the 15 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Madam, the technical session will be started at sharp 2:25. Please come soon.